Hey everyone. Please support what I do to help keep Greyhawk alive by subscribing to the channel. Also, please consider becoming a channel member to get early access to videos, exclusive live chats, quarterly adventure modules, and more. Thanks, and enjoy the show. So when most people think of the Vault of the Drow and Errol High Kinlu, the city, you think of like seeing spiders everywhere, carvings and just images of spiders are everywhere. But it's not necessarily the case. That's what I want to explore today on Greyhawk Ragnar. So, when you think of the Drow city of Errol Haikinlu, which is the major Drow city that we know about, obviously it's detailed in to some extent in the module Vault of the Drow D3. Um, you think that you're going to be seeing spider imagery everywhere, right? The way that the Drow and Drow cities in particular have been depicted in later years kind of gives us the impression that everywhere you look, you're going to see a carving of a spider or an image of a spider or something like that. The iconography is supposed to be very spider heavy. And that's not necessarily the case. And I'm gonna try to go through the text of the Vault of the Drow module because I have my original copy here. Um, and what I want to know is that it's not necessarily all spiders all the time. And which does not mean there aren't any spiders. So I'm going to get that out of the way first. Um, you know, and one of the things about this sort of iconography is that the iconography of the city reflects the things around it, right? The things that the people who live there see. That's going to be reflected in the sort of images that they choose as their decoration, as the images that they wear, things like that. The tapestries, they're going to be filled with stuff that they're familiar with, and that makes perfect sense. And obviously, if you look at the encounter tables for the vault, there are giant spiders, huge spiders, all over the place. The rooftops of the city are said to be inhabited by giant spiders. Um, they're obviously the image of Lolth, the demon queen of spiders, who is the patron of most of the Drow houses. Um, and we have these servants of Lolth, which we only hear about the name. We don't know anything about what they are. You get the impression that the priesthood of Lolth is called the servants of Lolth, but they never say it explicitly. And they have these gold spider brooches, and that's how they're identified. And as you get higher in level, your gold spider brooch gets more and more ornate with gems and so forth. So we do see the spider iconography there. There are medallions that have uh, spiders on them. I'm just going through real quick here. There's yeah. I'm searching a PDF and the word spider shows up like a lot because there's a lot of actual spiders. I remember I'm talking about the spider iconography here, not the presence of the spiders. The presence of the spiders is what leads to the iconography. But I'm more interested in where you see images of them. We got the wolf spiders, the giant spiders. Da, ba, da. Um, okay, so here's a good one. And then we get to the egg of Lolth. So in the actual city, there's no real description of you're going to see carvings of spiders. But once you get to the egg of Lolth, we get uh, its walls have been carved by slaves over centuries so that everywhere the eye rests, a grinning demon face, feeding spider, gibbering manes, or scenes of disgusting practices, or the revolting landscapes of the plains upon which demons dwell will sicken the viewer. So we get spider imagery there. Then, of course, in the temple itself, we have giant spiders, actual giant spiders again. Um, when we're into the fane of Lolth, the edifice is a pagoda-like structure decorated with many carved spiders and demon statues. Um, the stairs resemble a spider web. Um, an altar where offerings of goods are placed is carved with many spider shapes, and two candles burn on either end. Um, giant spider guards, spider brooches, spider. In the dungeon level, we have the walls are covered with luminescent frescoes of spiders feeding upon prey and lesser demons dragging sacrifices, horror-stricken humans and light creatures to torture and death. The murals are everywhere on the dungeon walls. Um, and that's pretty much it. We see spider brooches, we see spider imagery when we get to the Fane, but in the city, we don't see much. And if you noted, everywhere that we saw spider imagery in the Fane of Lolth, well, almost everywhere, we also saw demons. And that is another um, interesting bit of iconography because we do see demon iconography in the actual city. Um, if we get to bear with me one second, and just like we saw just like we saw with the spiders, because there's spiders everywhere, that's going to work their way into the iconography. And of course, in the case of Lolth, spiders are part of the religious imagery. But when we see demons, that is also something that you're going to see a lot of when walking down the streets of Arhai Kinlu. Um, but first, we see um, the great gate to the city. If you try to force open the gate, it will actually summon a type 2 demon. So there are demons actually physically in the in the walls and in the gates and stuff. Um, but you will see demons that are in the encounter tables, demons walking down the streets of various sorts. Lolth herself can summon demons of type 1, 2, or 3. Um, the description of the gatehouse to the city. The gatehouse is a large pile of old black stone, frescoed with demoniac visages. Two spiked bronze valves stand open. Um, oop, at why is this not working? Oh my god! At the far end, and a raised portcullis can close the nearer end of the passage. So we're seeing demons are carved on the gates of the city, but not spiders. Um, And as we saw when uh, going through the Fane and the Temple of Lolth, uh, almost all the time when you see spider imagery, like frescoes or bas reliefs or whatever, you're also seeing demon imagery. So I think it's very interesting that we actually see more demon imagery than we do spider imagery in terms of the carvings and everything. We still get the spider brooches, and there's no such things as a demon brooch. But I thought that was absolutely fascinating. But what really uh, um, surprised me was the use of crystals as as imagery, and that's another thing that you kind of gets overlooked a lot when you're reading through the text. Is that in the Vault of the Drow they have these fungi forests, right? But they're not just fungi. There's fungi and crystals. That's how the forests are referred to. And there's little bits of crystal everywhere. Think of like one of those living caves, where they have those beautiful prisms and such of crystal that have grown over the centuries. The land is covered principally with various lichens, with clumps of small crystals and smaller fungi patches here and there. Um, um, sorry, I'm just bringing it up again. Fungi crystal forests, in which you're going to see, um, a lot of obviously fungi and stuff like that. But the way it's described, um, and here we go. The large moon casts beams of shimmering amethyst, which touch the crystalline formations with colors unknown to any visual experience. Um, the road bed is strewn with crushed crystals, which glitter in the weird light of the underground. Um, uh, the countryside beyond the gorge is filled with abnormally large lichens, large and small crystalline growths, and fungi of all sizes. Um, uh, and the lands of the noble families don't have the forest, but they do have little clumps of fungi and crystals. So we keep seeing these crystal formations are ubiquitous throughout the vault, and that's something that you're going to be, because of that, you're seeing this kind of iconography in uh, the brooches, because the brooches that each row noble house has these brooches that identify who they are, and some of them are the blue enameled prism, um, the violet enameled urn, the red enameled gem, uh, the green enameled lozenge. Those are kinds of things that they kind of evoke. Maybe not the urn so much, but the others kind of evoke these crystals that are everywhere in the forests. So that was a surprise to me when I was reading through this yet again. But the biggest thing that you see. Is the fungi. I mean, obviously, there's fungi everywhere. There's fungi forests. They go out into the into those to chop down the mushrooms and bring them back for food and make other things out of them. But when we look at the brooches, we have the white enameled morel mushroom, the tan enameled puffball mushroom, the russet enameled shelf fungi, yellow enameled mushrooms, pink enameled horsetail mushroom. Right there, there's just a zillion mushroom shaped uh, brooches that the Drow noble houses use. So the idea that they're using this iconography for their own noble houses is quite remarkable. Now, what I and those are the big ones. We see obviously fungi everywhere, and um, we're seeing that as part of the iconography. So so there it is. You think you're going to see spiders all over the place, and you do to a limited extent, especially as you get towards Lolth's holy places, unholy places. But you're more likely to see demons. You're going to see crystal iconography and mushroom iconography in the Drognable house pins. So I think it's a mistake to just assume that it's going to be all spiders all the time. And there's a lot of little touches like that in here. I think there's a lot for the DM to work with in those cases. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think of the comments, and I will talk to you later.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.